Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
First,
It's very close, anyway.
before Pitt.
Last time we'll see you. You were early, Michelle. I'm sorry, Susan. Hey, we all make mistakes, huh? Why did I say Michelle? Anyway.
She covers basketball.
No, I don't know what that was. Anyway, sorry about that.
It's all right.
You look like Susan to me. Okay. All right, first of all, announce our captains. On offense, Tyler Gauthier. On defense, Gerald Willis and Jaquan Johnson. And on special teams, Zach McLeod. And now we'll talk a little bit about our opponent, Pitt. Obviously, they won the Coastal for the first time in their history, and they've won 4 games in a row, 5 of the last 6. Playing really good. Last 6 games, they've outscored their opponent 73 points to 29 in the second half, which has been a big factor for them. Last week, they beat Wake Forest, and offensively, they're averaging 30 points a game, 400 yards a game. They're averaging 250 a game rushing the ball, so doing a great job of that. They're third in the league in that category. Pickett, their quarterback's thrown for almost 1,700 yards, 12 touchdowns, only 5 picks, and it hadn't been picked off in a long time, not since October 6th. This last week, he actually threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, his best performance yet. Olison, their running back, number 30, one of their senior running backs, leads the team and is ranked 3rd in the league with 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns, averaging 6.6 a carry. Pretty impressive there. Fellow senior Hall, number 22, has rushed for 888 yards and 9 touchdowns. So a great 1-2 punch. They actually have another senior running back who's a fullback for them. Does a great job leading the way for them. Their receiver, Mack, number 11, has 459 yards receiving. And junior Maurice French, number 2, paces them with 6 touchdown receptions. And their offensive line has 4 seniors that have started over 125 games. So it's pretty impressive what they're doing up front and with those senior backs. A lot of maturity there. Defensively, they have allowed 21 points a game, 400 yards a game. They have 16 takeaways, 7 fumbles, 9 interceptions. They're a +4 turnover ratio, same as we have actually. Weaver, number 17, their defensive end, leads in sacks, 5.5, and 12 tackles for loss. Dwayne Hendricks has got 23 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss, and 4 sacks. Another DN there. Idowu, number 23, has 64 tackles, 7.5 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, and actually had 8 against us last year. He leads the team in tackles. Hamlin leads the team in tackles with 70 and has 2 picks. Jackson leads the team with 11 passes defended. He's tied for first in the conference with 4 forced fumbles. And then their special teams, they are number 1 in the league and 7th in the country in kickoff return. That's French. Number 2 again, he's averaging 29.7 yards a return. He's had 2 touchdowns, 2 kickoffs for touchdowns, one against Albany, one against Notre Dame. And Lopez, number 82, is averaging 8.6 on 14 punt returns, and he's got an 86-yard touchdown return against UCF. Kessman, their kicker, has made 9 out of 12 field goals, 7 out of 8 from +40, and I think he's made 4 over 50, a 55-yarder, a 54, another 54-yarder, and a 53-yarder. The 55-yarder was at Heinz Field, actually the longest kick ever. Longest field goal made by a collegiate or a pro, so that's pretty dang good. They got an Australian punter, number 98, who I would struggle to pronounce his last name. His first name is Kirk. He's averaging 41 yards per punt, and last week he averaged 51 yards a punt. I think one of them went 71 yards, or at least that's his long, so he's done an impressive job of flipping the field for them as a punter. So with that, I will open up for questions.
Mark, you mentioned earlier this year, I think you were maybe partly just to
like
Yeah.
that you can try to do outside the box to sort of entice these juniors to come back? That or something else?
Oh, I know. I think those decisions are just made purely on what those guys think is best for them, and you do your best to give them the best information possible. It starts with what does the NFL think about these guys, and so we do a good job of educating them the best we can, and then it's just going to have to be a family decision. But I think every one of them would tell you right now they're going to focus on playing a game right now and try to honor the seniors that we have in our program.
And was the Joe Jackson thing a joke, or could you actually see promising a player? Well, give me a few snaps on.
Oh, I'll throw a fade or two to him. If he shows up, I'll throw a couple fades to him. Might need to do it this week since we're out of tight ends. He's been saying it for, not since the injury. He's been saying it all year long. He always messes with Coach Hartley about, I'm here, I'm ready. So I don't want to give away the game plan for this week.
Mark, has the mood changed at all the last 3 days now that this
Yeah.
the last month? It's just kind of over here.
Well,
You're not relaxing and taking your foot off
no,
the gas.
I think, it's just human nature to feel miserable when you're not winning, It's so much of our lives are poured into the effort. It's hard to stomach, for anybody. And then when you win, you can't help but feel better. I'm not saying everything's cured by any stretch, but I know that the spirit in that locker room was real. The excitement was real as far as winning and becoming bowl eligible. And I like I said before, I got a bigger reaction than I thought I'd get from the guys. Just spontaneous joy broke out in the locker room, and maybe some of it was relief. I don't know. But the bottom line was, it was good for the soul, for everybody, good for the team. So the mood is certainly different. We've tried to build a team that's united. I mentioned that earlier. Usually when you go through hard times, it reveals whether you have some unity or you don't. You don't usually all of a sudden call a meeting and everybody gets united in the tough times. That usually you figure out if you're strong or not. And I think, I thanked the team when the game was over in the locker room for how they handled everything. It wasn't, by any stretch of the imagination perfect, but I thought as a whole, everybody hung in there together. I thought the coaching staff did a good job of hanging in there and continuing to work and battle and do the things that we know can help us be successful. We went through that 4-game losing streak, season 1. That wasn't a whole lot of fun either. But we kept believing, we kept grinding, we kept doing the things that we know over time will produce good results if everybody buys in and stays consistent. So I was pleased with that. But to answer your question, the mood has been, it's been better for sure.
Mark, you have,
Well, there's time for everybody.
okay, you've had 3 out of the 4 quarterbacks suspended at various points.
I know that. It's not good.
Various points of the season.
Right.
And I was wondering if that makes you reassess in any way how you recruit as far as determining character, or I don't know, is that any reflection? Or?
I would not say character. I would say immaturity more than. I don't think these guys have bad character. I think there's been some immaturity issues that they got to just they got to grow up. I've been saying that for a while, and so no, I think these guys are great kids. I think they're learning how to be leaders. They're learning how to be a quarterback at the collegiate level. It's not like it was in high school, and that's true of all freshmen. They're all going through it. It's not easy. They're so used to being the best ever since they were little boys. They were the best, and that's why they love football. Part of the reason why they love it, because they were one of the better players on their team probably every step along the way. And then you get to college and you get surrounded by a bunch of guys that were the best. And now, it's a little different animal when it comes to competition. When you're going against somebody on the other side of the line who's more like you, makes it tougher to be a dominant player. So you got to kind of get used to that a little bit, And then you also got to get used to the guy beside you at your position. He's pretty good too. So you got to compete against the guy across from you. You got to compete against the guy alongside of you for your playing time. And so, that's part of growing up too. But, some of these suspension issues are more guys just not being grown up enough to, to take care of their responsibilities like they should.
Mark, and just as a follow-up,
Yeah.
specifically to quarterbacks, do you hold them maybe to a different standard because they?
Absolutely. Yeah. I tell quarterbacks, I do not want to, first of all, I do not want to have to motivate you. Okay. If I have to motivate a quarterback, you might need to play another position. So they have to be self-motivated. I want to teach them. I want to guide them. I want to educate them on what it takes to be great. Now, they're like anybody else. If they do something they're not supposed to do, there'll be a discipline for it, and they'll take their medicine and hopefully learn from it and grow from it and become a better man for it, become a better quarterback for it. But yeah, I mean, the standard for the quarterback is higher. There's no question. And when it comes to his work ethic, when it comes to his behavior, when it comes to how he motivates his teammates.
I was talking about the same subject. Has this been as challenging a year for you because of the on and off the field?
Yeah,
To coach quarterbacks?
it's been.
I'm talking about quarterbacks specifically.
Yeah, I've coached quarterbacks 35 years. I don't know how many years, or how long I've been coaching. And, probably more of that, what we just been speaking about. Well, I mean, let's face it, we got a senior, and then everybody else is a freshman, either redshirt freshman or true freshman. So just by virtue of the room, the age of the room is not mature. The experience or the time in the meeting room is not it's not been that long. And what happens is normally if you get your quarterback room like it ought to be, there's a starter here and there's a guy that's been waiting in the wings a year or two and perfecting his trade, and then the other guys are coming, and usually they make their mistakes in anonymity. I mean, no one notices because no one's expecting them to be the starter or expecting them to play right away. And so as they're just learning to be men and learning to be quarterbacks, it's more visible because of how we have, a senior and these young guys. So that's part of it too. And so it's more of a battle to teach them rather than show them. When you have mature quarterbacks ahead of guys, they just kind of see how they do it. You don't have to say much. You're like, hey, do it like so-and-so. Do it like so-and-so. And then you'll benefit from it. And they'll see that. But it's been a little bit more of a challenge because of that gap.
Have the suspensions at all been a distraction, what we don't see on the practice field?
No.
They have not.
No, it's been separate from football stuff. Yeah.
Mark, several of the seniors that we spoke to today said they're committed to playing in a bowl game, wherever it is, whatever
Yeah.
it is. Is that a discussion you have with them, or is that something that comes from them naturally?
No, I have an expectation that everybody would finish the season. That's what I would expect everyone to do. That's what I would want everybody to want to do. I guess you guys have to ask that question. That's part of what you guys do is ask those questions. But, I can't predict what's going to happen, but I believe these guys, care about their team and their teammates, and I think every chance they get to play, you can read some of Gerald Willis's quotes. That guy, he wants to play with his teammates, and I think the rest of the guys feel that way too.
Mark, it's just one game, but how big a difference psychologically is a 4-4 finish in the league against 3-5?
That's big. I mean, you don't want to have a losing record in league play. It's not good. It's not good. 500 certainly would feel a lot better than 3-5. I could tell you that.
But would there be a boost, do you think? I mean, just.
Oh, I think
If
so.
you look back at big picture, what went right, what went wrong this year?
Yeah, I mean, we could still finish with 2 victories. Obviously, we got to try to get one first. But yeah, I mean that feels a lot better than not getting these last 2. So let's worry about Pitt now. I know Pitt's getting a bunch of questions about Clemson, and we're getting questions about other things down the road. But I think both coaches, myself and Coach Narduzzi, want to let's worry about this game.
And Mark, as a follow-up on the quarterback thing, we saw what Nicosi looked like on the field the other day, and you could see the progression.
Yeah.
How about off the field? Maturity, doing
It's
the
getting
right
there.
things,
Yeah.
getting it to work. And what are you seeing today that maybe you weren't seeing a month ago?
just through trial and error, you know, him realizing it takes a little bit more than just showing up to even the time that we give him. You know, he needs to spend more time than what is in the 20-hour rule. And voluntarily, he can get all he wants. You know, he's understanding that, you know, just a little more film study can make a big difference in a recognition of one defense on one play. Like, you know, the long ball that he threw to number 8, D. Wiggins, my man D. I mean, he saw a blitz. Well, he pointed out the possibility of a blitz, and if the blitz came, what the receiver was going to do if the blitz came, and it did come. He ran the right route, which was different than what it would have been if we had just not made, you know, the communication there. And so everybody was on the same page. We picked up the blitz. Homer did a beautiful job of picking up the blitz along with the linemen. You always forget 5 linemen are blocking their guys too, you know. And when a back picks up a linebacker, it's like he picked up the blitz, and he did, but everybody else got a block too. So we protected well, and we laid it out there beautifully. And it, you know, could have been a 63-yard touchdown pass or whatever it was. And then he recognized the coverage where he threw the ball to Homer down the sideline. Could have been a 72-yard touchdown pass. And you throw those into the mix, it's probably 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. It's like, it's a heck of a day. And even without it, he played well. Now, he missed a couple things, like, you know, all young guys do and human beings do. They're not perfect, but you could see him when he comes off the field. I can look in his eyes and know that he understands what's happening. He's not in a panic mode. He's not confused. He's not wide-eyed and all that kind of thing. If you ask him a question, why did you do what you did? He would say, this is what I saw. This is why I did what I did. Even the touchdown pass to Cam, the little swing pass, he did a great job of recognizing coverage and knowing where to go with the ball, and went to his secondary receiver. And, you know, all those little things start adding up to success, and he's really coming along.
Mark, I saw Mike Smith on crutches.
Yeah, Mike has got, I think, left knee, and he's on crutches now. We don't think he'll play, but we're you know, pretty certain he'll be ready for the bowl game. Yeah.
Well, to get to Pittsburgh, you did mention yesterday when you were on Joe Rose about returning the favor. I mean, everything is flipped this year. They're
Yeah.
division champs. They have the win streak. I mean, and how much of a motivating factor is that?
Well, you know, I mean, they took it to us. You know, we were 10 in a row or 10-0, and had a, you know, obviously already know we're in the ACC title game. That wasn't going to get taken away from us. But, you know, the momentum, it, you know, certainly took some momentum, and, you know, we ended up getting, I think Herndon ended up getting banged up in that thing. But, you know, they showed up, their home stadium. They played hard for their seniors. They didn't have, I don't even think they had a bowl possibility at that point. You know, so, I mean, all the credit goes to them and how they rallied and played with some spirit and got the job done. So, yeah, we'd like to be able to do that as well.
Mark, in light of
Sorry.
some of the things that have been posted on social media this year by some other players, do you revisit that at all? Maybe your policy towards it with them, and where do you let them?
Here's what I think. I think Miami, we claim to be family, okay? And, you know, I know even in the best of families, things don't always go great, okay? I think, you know, there's times when we love each other, but we might not like each other, you know? I don't have a problem with anybody. I respect every guy that wore the U, okay? I mean, when it comes to honoring our former greats, we're honoring them, even in the building of the indoor, and how we're displaying, you know, photos of guys that have done wonderful things. And, you know, what somebody said or didn't say is not going to have any effect on me, on, you know, who should be on that wall, you know. But, you know, if everybody says they love the program, you know, some things that help the program is as much positive energy as you can have around the program. It, you know, helps in recruiting and everything else. So, you know, I think that, you know, the more positive vibe we have coming out of our football alumni, the better it's going to be in recruiting and everything else. So, but I really don't pay attention to it. I know people bring it up to me, but I really got to focus on things other than that, quite frankly.
What I meant was specifically your players and what they post on social media.
I've not seen that. Not seen that. I might probably need to take a peek.
Mark, I want to ask you about Jaron. I know he was suspended.
Mhm.
Does that, I know I guess he's eligible to play, right?
Yeah.
Would you like to, I know I keep asking this, would
Yeah.
you like to get him in a game? Do you have a long memory or a short memory?
No, I would love to play all of our quarterbacks at the game. Well, just if, I mean,
He hasn't played much.
I know. Well, I mean, if it's 14-10 in the fourth quarter, do you throw him in there? I mean,
Gotcha.
you know, I mean, it's, you know, we yeah. So anyway, y'all have a good day. Thank you.
Thanks.